Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a set build order here on the Deities of Death YouTube channel. I'm Floom, and thanks to them for having me here to showcase what I consider to be an intermediate level, aggressive Age 2 style for set. Let's get into it. We're going to be talking about things here and there as we go, but for the starters, we're going to try to be specific. 2 villagers build a granary near your closest hunt. 1 builds a monument wherever you decide to put it down. And then we're going to set our baboon set, which we get to scout, and our priest out to scout as well. So we're going to get 4 villagers on the food. That's our first goal. But our monument villager, this guy over here, he's going to go into a straggler tree to start gathering wood. Okay, so he's off to the races. Now, I'm going to assume you know how to manage your food so that they, you're gathering them faster, they go closer to the granary rather than further away. Managing herdables is a micromanagement skill. I'm not here to explain it today, but it's an important part of juggling all the various things you're juggling. So, once we get 4 onto food, we're going to start building a mining camp over here, and we're going to queue up our rally point onto the gold mine. Our goal is to get 3 villages onto gold, and I will say this, one of the reasons why we gather wood early like this, you see at this point the mining camp's finished, we have 120 wood, which is exactly as much as we need to get pickaxe. But I was a bit messy and I didn't click it super fast, so I was a bit slow to get it, but realistically you should be able to get pickaxe as soon as the mining camp finishes. Okay, so the other thing I don't do that I should do in this build order is I'm not using my priest to convert animals. I'm trying more or less just to use him to scout to find expansion points, and once I'm satisfied with that, I should send him to the nearest pack of animals to start stealing food from my opponent's side of the map. But it's not something I'm micromanaging. So when we get our 3rd villager onto gold, we're going to use the wood chopper to build a house just where he stands, and then we're going to start rallying back onto food. We're going to keep rallying onto food until we get to 8. Now again, our goal, so we visioned early, you can see, we used the god power pretty much straight away, and the reason we did that is because we were checking to see if our opponent had his gold mine forward. And it's important to check that, because if it isn't, if the gold mine is somewhere over here where it's a bit harder to reach, then an aggressive kind of all-in build style, it's a bit harder to pull off if it's easier for them to protect their gold, basically, long story short. Okay, so we're on 8 on food now, so we're going to send our next villager over to a temple. We're going to pull 1 off gold. So these 2 guys are going to build this temple and then go straight back to gold. And then we're going to get our 9th villager onto food. So we have 9 total on food. We're going to have this guy on wood. Once these guys are done, they're going to be on gold, so that's 4. And so everything else we build is extra, and we're going to just send it on to gold. We'll probably get another 2 or 3 villagers onto gold. Now, we have enough for Anubis soon. The temple is just about ready. So we're 50 food away from where we need to be. If we were to just pick up our villagers and right-click the granary, 3, 2, 1, there we go. And we're on the way up with Anubis. Now, at this point, I'm just going to pause real quick as we take stock. So at this point, we have some things we need to do. Our build order is going to be Anubis-based, which means Anubites, right? Which are, of course, an excellent unit for harassing, generally, diving in, diving out, avoiding enemy heroes. It's a good thing. Now, we did match up against Norse in this skirmish against AI here, but Norse traditionally don't have a great way of dealing with myth units at range. I think for this reason, Anubites probably isn't the greatest choice into another Egyptian player, because priests can kind of punish Anubite play a little bit easier than other civilizations in Age 2. Now, our goals at this point, so we're aging up, we're going to get husbandry, right? Because we're just shy of 100 wood, which is of course how much we need for husbandry, and that's going to allow us to stay in our base a little bit longer. It's going to start fattening up all these goats that we've been gathering. And we've got our monkey over here to watch to see if our opponent is planning on a fast second town center. We're going to try to obelisk up this part of the map so we can keep an eye on his forward gold. And then we're just going to try to keep an eye on other points of the map, or points of interest. So that's going to be these 2 gold mines over here. I believe we soon figure out that there is a town center here. And we're going to keep going. We're going to build a second priest. We're sending him to a relic, to relic gather in this one, but realistically, we could send him forward to build more obelisks. We're also going to be getting the Hands of the Pharaoh upgrade. This is mostly for the increased attack range more than anything else, just to allow us to deal with enemy myth units a little bit faster, a little bit cleaner. We're going to build a monument, a second monument, pretty much build it as fast as you can. I was a little bit slow out the gate. You know, as soon as you start aging up, you should be building a second monument, more or less. We're going to send our solo wood chopper over here to build a lumber camp, and we're also going to send a villager from gold just to build as many houses as we can. Now, as soon as we hit age 2, we want to be building 2 barracks near a monument. Very important to get that monument bonus on the barracks. We're going to send our Anubite forward to start denying gold, right? Just any kind of idle time we get on his gold mine is good. And also, we get all these animals of set, which is one of the things you get when you age up as set. This is all going to be food fodder. Now, if I can pause again, there is an argument to be had as to whether or not you send your pharaoh or your set animals forward to attack, or do you keep them at home. Now, the pharaoh I like to keep at home just because 1, you can use it for defense, 2, it's going to help you generate more resources, right? Which is going to keep your economy on par with your opponent if he defends your aggression. And 3, with the animals, if you send them forward, yes, they can be powerful tools for outnumbering your opponent early. If you're both producing a lot of units, the animals are going to tip the numbers into your favor. But the problem is, it also then puts the food that they have on them on his side of the map, or their side of the map, I should say. So if we keep them at home, that's good. It means it's our food, not his or theirs. And the other thing is, they take up population space. So make sure you select them like this and then press the delete key, and that will have them fall over, provide food, and they won't take up population space. So hopefully we get that going here in just a second. Now, you can see I haven't built barracks yet, and I should have built them the second we hit age 2. So that's just me clicking around the map, mismanaging. My build order isn't super clean yet. But yes, 2 barracks, and you can see as well, as we finished aging up, we rallied villagers onto wood, because our plan is to go slingers. And again, the reason why we want slingers is just that it's easier to deal with gold mines like this without having to dive under the town center, so we can just get that for free. But honestly, we saw that our opponent went up with Freya, who we know likes to build cavalry, so we could theoretically just not send villagers to wood and instead put more onto food and gold. And what's the word? Just, focus on spearmen and Anubites. But Anubites cost 100 food and 15 favor, so a lot of our food will be going towards them. Like I said, we did pick up Feet of the Jackal, so we're going to be spamming the Anubites out. They're going to be our strongest factor. Now you can see here, Feet of the Jackal, it's going to give us attack damage, it's going to give us hit points, and it's going to give us jump range, which is just so good. The jump is obviously the best thing about the Anubite in terms of versatility. Yeah, now these 2 barracks came out way too slow. That's on me. Again, not the cleanest of plays. Also, once again, didn't convert any animals on my opponent's side of the map. There's things like rhino on this particular map, which are great sources of food even once converted. So 3 or 4 villages on wood is enough, but gold is king at this point. But honestly, at this point, this is probably too many. What's this number? 9? I think probably 8's the upper limit you want on a gold mine early, and then I would start putting more into food. And you can see, in terms of food options, we've kind of run out. We're going to need to move over here next. So, the other thing I haven't talked about is Plague of Serpents. Now, I was just mucking around here, and I used it during a little fight that happened off camera. But what's great about Plague of Serpents is it's good at denying town center expansions with the units. You can't just have Plague of Serpents, you need other units to be there too. So it's just good it's also good at keeping villagers away from, like, I used it here to keep his villagers away from eating this food while I got my army together. And again, I was a bit slow with it. Could have been way faster. But once you start sending units over here, you'll see it starts to come out real quick. So we're going to keep this replay going a bit fast forward here. Again, don't play it super clean. Here we go. So you can see I'm attacking here. I've got my Nubites, I've got slingers, I've got my priests. We are just trying to hit units here. Now, my opponent has attacked me at home, but I'm not too worried. I've got these turrets for free, which my opponent did not get. And I'm just here trying to deal with some of his aggression back here. I'm cleaning up his units at home by building spearmen to deal with his cavalry. Again, should have thought about it and built spearmen a lot sooner. I'm even going to use villagers to clean up some of the hearses there. No, I don't think any villagers died, although it was a bit messy. This villager, a bit worse for wear. We also almost lost the Pharaoh, but I'm going to heal him up. And meanwhile, I'm just trading, basically, over here. You can notice that he doesn't have any of his villagers on this gold mine. And I've lost vision. I had the baboon here, lost that. I can see he's starting to gather gold down here, but I've got the obelisk to cover down here. Ideally, I would have also some vision up here as well. So we're just going to go on and slay as many villagers as we can. And the AI at this point says, "You got me." So that's the build order. A bit sloppy from me, I know. Some other criticisms is I think this is overwalling with houses. You definitely want to build as many houses as you can if you're going to be spamming units, but maybe this is too much. I don't know. Because it's a lot of time this villager sits there doing not much. The other thing is Pharaoh on gold. Maybe I could have put him on food. I don't know. I also built 2 mining camps here to just smash out the gold. But I ended up with floating a bunch of resources too. You know, I could have had another barracks, honestly. I also could have been producing from these barracks a lot more steadily. But, you know, in a case like this where you make a mistake and you don't produce more units, look at this. I actually have control of the things I wanted control over. I've out-traded my opponent's military with mine, even though it was a bit sloppy. I kept all my myth units, which are the important ones. And in this position, if my opponent had, for some reason, snuck a sneaky gold mine somewhere on this corner or this corner of the map, obviously there is none here, but assuming there was, I could then maybe say, well, maybe I just put the brakes on and go up to age 3. And if I wanted to do that, age 3 would be to the tune of Nephthys. And the reason why you go Nephthys is because you get Ancestors, which is another aggressive combat-based god power, which is going to put the pressure on your opponent. You get the Free Scorpion Man, who's a very good combat unit for a myth unit. And then finally, Funeral Rites. Now, Funeral Rites is an upgrade you can get, which is going to give you 8 gold back every time a human soldier or hero, in this case priests, die. And given that you're only spending 2 gold a pop on barracks units, you essentially make gold by sending them out, which is an interesting little thing. The option to go Scarab is there, because Scarab serves as a good siege unit to follow up if your opponent totals in their base with buildings, and the Scarab can kind of tip the scales in that regard. So that is an option. It also gives you access to Slingers of the Sun, which is going to take the Slingers, if you are going heavy on the Slingers, to the next level. The only other thing that I haven't talked about, I think, is Necropolis, which is an option if you want more favor generation. But I think taking 30 seconds and indeed 150 gold away from your coffers and your temple is probably not worth it. You're already getting Feet of the Jackal and Hand of the Pharaoh from the temple, so adding a third upgrade to that list really slows down your myth unit production time. Okay, that's the build order. Hope you liked it. I hope it brings you some victories, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye for now, and I'll see you in the next one.